guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now then, on today's video, if you wondering why I'm wearing overalls, it's because we're going to service the T6. It's due for a 600-hour service. I know what you're thinking, it's probably not that old. It isn't that old. I think it's a 19 reg tractor. It's coming up to 1800 hours, but it needs a 600-hour service. It's just still under warranty. But if I took it into the dealership, we'd have to pay over $1,000 to get it serviced. So if we service it now, the warranty goes off it, but the warranty's going off it anyway in July. So if we service it now, we save ourselves some money because we bought all the filters privately ourselves and not gone through a dealership. They're all genuine filters though, so don't worry about that. So, I told you, they're genuine filters, C&H filters. This is the big filter, the hydraulic one for the back end. Don't have to change the hydraulic oil though, just the back end filter. A lot of oil comes out when you change that filter. Diesel filters, got a little inline diesel filter just there to change because that's all black. The diesel filter with the water separator on the sensor. And this should be another hydraulic filter for the back. So 2 hydraulic filters, engine oil filter and 2 diesel filters. Whether you can see, I don't know, but this is the engine oil bump down here. It's pretty tight. Yeah, she's a tight one. It's okay, I got it loose now. She's come undone. She's come undone. Let's try not to spill oil all over the floor up. Sit that there like that. And there we go. Let's try not to make a mess on the nice concrete floor. So we'll leave that to drain. And while the engine oil's draining, it's best to do it from both sides because there's engine oil sump bungs, left hand side and right hand side of the engine. While that's draining into there, I am going to change the engine oil filter, which is just here. It's upside down, so very messy job. Don't know why they put it upside down, but yeah, unscrew that, got a new one, put that on, job's a good one. There's a lot more electrics in the way than on the old tractors, which makes things a bit harder. So I'm just going to unplug this one here because no doubt I'll spin that off and catch that. So I believe it's just like that. So if I undo that and spin that off, I shouldn't damage the wire, because what's the bets I'll damage the wire. See, they put that pipe in the way so it's convenient so you can't get this on, but that was about as tight as anything. You just see that, how loose that filter was. Ridiculous. this is the messy front bit. Don't get no oil on the concrete floor, please. It's due for an oil change, look how black she is. So, I've got the new filter here. Before anyone starts screaming, this is I know it's a Donaldson filter and I said they're all genuine filters. It is genuine. Donaldson actually makes C&H filters. So, they are the correct filters. So I'm just going to put a bit of oil on the seal here now. Obviously you can't fill the filter up because it's upside down. So just going to put a bit of oil on here. And then what I shall do when I top the engine oil off, I'll put in a bit more than what it needs, run it up so all the oil fills the filters, and then check it once everything's settled down. So I'm going to whop this back on here now. Some people say you should just do them hand tight, but I like to give them a bit extra because that filter that I took off was a bit loose, you must admit. Plug this back in. There we go. Right, so now I'm going to do the diesel filters. There's a water separator, a water sensor at the bottom of this one. So you just push it in and pull it down, so that disconnects that. Leave that hanging there, or I sort of tuck it out of the way so it gets no diesel on it. These are a bit of a pig as well. Now let's see if these are loose. They're pretty loose. That's what you get. So if I let the fuel go, unscrew in the sensor at the bottom. And that's a little sensor at the bottom that you've got to screw onto the new filter. Diesel everywhere. One filter done. Make sure the O-ring's off. Fair bit of muck around the top there. Look. Don't look too bad inside. Just get a rag. Diesel all over. It's a bit of a rainy day today. Dad's in the office getting a few bits ready for the crop assurance, the red tractor assurance. They're meant to be coming around and testing, well, assessing the farm. So he's getting the paperwork ready for that. Meanwhile, I've got to run to the scrap place near March, take some scrapping while it's a bit wet. Jobs like that really. Just thought I'd do this, get it out of the way with, and fire it up and run it all and make sure it's all alright. But here's a filter, like I've said before, that gets forgotten about. The little filter in the glass bowl, the element filter I think is what they call it. You unscrew that and make sure you don't crack the glass, because that's been done before. And then this is where you get a lot of the junk from you. I'm pretty sure it goes through this filter first before it goes through any other filter. So, if you can see what I'm doing, I don't know. I chose this shed because it's a bit lighter. But we shall unscrew it all the way, flick it to one side, flick it down if it works. There we go. There's normally an O-ring on the top. As you can see, she's well overdue for a change. You see all the little bits in there. I'll just give this glass bowl a nice clean. But you can see she's all black and all gummed up. So we'll clean it all. Put the new one back on. You've got to make sure that you keep hold of this spring and obviously the glass bowl, because you don't get a spring with the new filter, I'm pretty sure. Can you see the difference? So, you just unscrew that there and flip it out, and then you screw it back up when you've changed the filter and put the little spring on the bottom of it. But don't tighten it up too much, otherwise you'll break the glass, like I said. So now that's on, we'll put this filter on and then the filter with the water separator on. So this is the filter with the water separator on. There's my O-ring, put that there. One of the common mistakes is you leave the O-ring on the tractor and put this O-ring on like that, and you've got two O-rings and it leaves a little air pocket. It's happened before, and you're always constantly sucking in air, so you've got to watch that the O-ring that's on the tractor you take off and replace with this new one. But we should put the water separator on here. There's an O-ring on here as well. Screw that on like so. So that's on there, that's ready to go back on. Now then, that's the fuel filters changed and primed up. They probably need another couple of pumps. I'll start the tractor, it probably won't start up first time. Prime it up again, get the fuel around the system a bit more. So that's all done. Now if you follow me, we'll go down here. Because we've got the narrow wheels on, we've got plenty of room under here. One hydraulic filter, and then this is the bugger here, the big bugger. I've got to take this plate off, and then this is the one that causes a lot of mess. It's got like a big plastic nut on the bottom. You turn it, drop it down, all the oil goes all over. Absolute nightmare. There is a bleed valve on the back, that red valve just there. You twist and it should cut the amount of oil that comes out, but yeah, I've heard that one before. So you twist that and it'll, like I say, cut the amount of oil comes off, but you've got to remember to turn it back on, otherwise the hydraulics won't work very well. So we're going to take this plate off, change the big filter first, otherwise if you try and change this filter it all drips on you, all the oil. So change this, obviously the big one first, let that drip there, and then change this one here. And here we have the big filter. There's arrows there, so when you take it off you got to tighten it up to the arrows, make sure she's all nice and square. There's a filter in there, an inline filter, and I think there's 2 or 1 big seals you got to change in there. But literally as soon as I undo that, if I'm changing the whole back end oil, which I'm not, but if I was, I can drain the filter off by undoing that. I think it's a 19mm, and draining all the oil out, 25 litres or 20 litres, whatever it is, into a can, and then change the filter. But because I'm just changing the filter and not the back end oil, it's going to get all over me. Right. Why does always someone ring you when you're doing something like this? You're not going to play ball. Screw it. And here we go. There we go. Lovely. I'm going to go get another bucket.